Hey, welcome back everybody. It's the Mohawk Forex True Scalping team. And we're back. Got a couple of weeks off while we're watching the markets settle down, and now fears of all this banking and the recession seem to have calmed down a little bit, so it's a good time to do another live stream, especially as we're running up to NFP week. And we're starting today with the open in about 30 minutes time, and then we've got the JOLTS job openings, which is the kind of first major news event, key indicator for inflation obviously, and of what's going to happen on Friday on NFP. So we like to jump in on that. True Scalp. We've got our new setup, which has been updated from X. Now it's MFS, Mohawk Forex Scalpers, obviously. This is a two indicator setup, and within that there are various indicators and setups which have been my favorite over the last few years, and that we've got special settings for, and we've made it boutique and just for people who are members of the group. So everything's automated. We've got automatic support and resistance, we've got supply and demand zones, we've got trend lines, we've got price action, we've got MACD bars, we've got an RSI, and everything's been tweaked to how I like it when I'm doing my true scalping. So, and this is just one setup you can see on the screen now, which I've been using recently really successfully, and making some nice profits on. So if you want to get access to this, because this if you had this, you would have to have the pro on TradingView and have access to at least a dozen indicators. But with this setup you only need two. So if you've got a free account on TradingView, you can have this and have access to all the indicators and settings that are within it. And once you're a member of the group, we show you how to set it all up and use it as well. So if you want to learn how to do that and join the VIP group, then you go to the website www.mohawkforex.com. All the information is in the YouTube channel below. So we're just pre-market at the moment. We just took a little trade on the break of our trend line once it came out of this demand zone. So supply zone, we've just come out of this zone here, and we took a little scalp down to our baseline. So we started the day with about 25, nothing major, just a small cheeky little win, bit of green to start the session with. So we've a look, and that was basically about $20 start for the day. And we didn't trade the open this morning on the euro, so we're going to go for this. And obviously we've got the JOLTS news coming up in 49 minutes, as you can see, backed up with factory orders and the IBD economic optimism report, which is also, so all this together, we'll see a nice little move. Anything that's inflation data related at the moment seems to be moving the markets more than it usually would. So I think the Fed and everyone is taking note of all these data points, and we're looking for fewer job openings here, which fewer job openings should be good for the markets. At the moment it's kind of a reversal, is that the good news is bad news for the markets and bad news is good news for the markets, because obviously if the economy is receding, then obviously there's less likely to be severe rate hikes or ongoing rate hikes from the Fed, so the markets react to that by pushing up most of the time. And we've got the manipulation in there as well to look out for. But that's what's been happening this last couple of days. Look, as you can see, we had a nice push up on the 500, then went into some consolidation, and then today we've had a nice break again, and our system automatically drew this trend line. We waited for a retest here, and we could have popped in here for a buy, and then we waited for a rejection. We had a higher high, we had a blue resistance zone, we waited for the break, we waited for RSI to cross our average, and it did. And here's where you could have taken a sell down to that next minor support or down to the trend line. And then we jumped in once MACD, which is set from a bigger time frame. This is like a 1 hour, 4 hour kind of MACD. It's not related to the time frames. It just gives me an idea of the overall trend. As you can see, it turned red, and all I was waiting for was a break of the trend line and then I was in on the sell and I got out just as it hit our baseline. So a nice little, backed up by red on the RSI as well, coming out of the neutral zone that we got set up. So nice and simple. No, you know, it's easy to find trades using this setup on whatever you like trading. At the moment, my favorite is the US 500. Last week we had a 90% win rate on the US 500, which I posted all the results into my group. So really, really good. And US 500 or SP 500 is really good for those of you with a smaller trading account that want to get into trading indices as well. This is a good place to start. You can start with small amount, where the US 30 you really need a minimum of $1,000 to really be able to put multiple trades in and deal with the drawdown that doesn't trigger a margin call on your account. So 500 is a little bit more forgiving. It's a bit more of a slow mover. When it goes in a direction, it tends to stick for at least that kind of 5 to 10 pips move, which I'm always looking to try and get on a 5-minute time frame. I do switch sometimes to the 1-minute time frame as well. As you can see, I've got it set up exactly the same settings here. Just don't need the RSI. Just look for price action on the 1-minute time frame. I use this for opens and for the news event to catch that initial move once I see the news result, and then go back to the 5-minute. So I'm using this purely just to look at the start of a move and also any kind of potential reversal of a zone that's popping up that might stop a win on a 5-minute. I don't really use it to scalp just on the 1-minute. I'm just looking for that reversal. We're plugged into Bloomberg as well, just watching the pre-market movers.
Entertainment down 24%, but the AMC Entertainment preferred shares up 17%. A lawsuit was settled. The conversion's going to go
AMC
through.
down 25%.
The company's plan for cash to keep the lights on. Traders liking that arbitrage opportunity, Matt.
All right, Abigail, thanks very much. We're going to try and sort out some of
So, like I
those
said, we've got the open in about 15 minutes, and then we've got the JOLTS news to change to trade, and that's it. That's done. That's it. I just like to come onto the chart kind of half an hour, usually 30 minutes before the open, or 10-15 minutes before a news event. Have a quick look at price action, decide where I think I'm going to go, wait for the move, jump in, get some green, get out, and that's it. That's true scalping. We're not into all this risk to reward ratio, holding trades, etc. That's not the way we do it. We're day traders. We don't hold trades for any longer than we have to. Sometimes we're in a trade for 20-30 seconds. Sometimes we're in it for, you know, an hour or so, but that is the maximum we usually try and hold trades for. We'll average down as well. If things go against us, we'll wait for a next key level to jump in and average down, and usually get back to a break even. So this is the whole technique of true scalping. Obviously on any of these levels, say I was entering a trade now, I can see where my stop loss would be above this supply zone or above our resistance zone here, depending on the size of the account I've got. So I can see where my stop loss would be, but I would already know if price has gone against me and end the trade way before it hits any kind of stop loss that I happen to set. And mostly I'm looking for 5 to 10 pips per trade. I'm just logging into my broker, which is IC Markets, so I think is the best for scalping. And like I say, I like to set it for 5 pips on the open.
Our demographic of shoppers is completely different from food delivery and ride sharing. We're 70% women and half of them are moms, and that's because a lot of the job at Instacart is very different.
A nice little break below our baseline. We broke a trend line, baseline, rejection. So are we looking to go lower on the open? As everything's saying higher, is there going to be a manipulation, a drop down to this demand zone? This is where a lot of key people are looking to buy again.
It's really a reminder, isn't it, just how sensitive the markets are.
So we could be selling down to this level, or we could have a push up hitting our heavy resistance and supply zone, and then another drop again. We're only going higher really if we break this higher high. It's probably a bit about profit taking at the moment, as you can see before the open. So we'll keep an eye on the 1 minute as well. as it's on a daily, on a neutral resistance, was kind of the daily pivot. This chart here is based on Fibonacci as well as support and resistance historical, so it's a good combination and unique to our trading setup.
Should bear the responsibility for the situation in which we are. Some of the board members which have been serving
so if you know what you get as the package, HH lower lows, you get the wave, zigzag if you like trading that, trend lines, supply and demand, points of interest which is your Fibonacci and support and resistance, we get support and resistance zones, reversal indicators, VWAP and a baseline.
Credit Suisse facing shareholders after a controversial forced takeover by UBS. The lender's chairman delivering an apology saying, quote, "We failed to stem the impact of legacy scandals and counter negative headlines with positive facts. The bank could not be saved."
Is the banking drama over? That's why a lot of people have stayed away from trading, and rightly so.
Out with his annual shareholder letter, the CEO had a warning for his shareholders. This banking crisis is not over, pointing the finger at regulators for missing risks that were, quote, hiding in plain sight. Team coverage starts right now with Bloomberg's Oliver Crook in Zurich and Shanali Basak here in New York. Oliver, let me start with you. I mean, I realize that there are going to be a flurry of lawsuits here and that thousands of people will lose jobs and that shareholders and especially bondholders have lost money. There's pain and there's hurt. But does any of this matter now that the acquisition is done?
Well, this is a good question, Matt, and I think for a lot of people, your question is, what is the point of an AGM for a company that is basically not going to exist in a couple of months? And this is a question that I put to some shareholders, including the CEO of Ethos there, who represents Swiss pension funds, about 3 to 5% of the stake here in Credit Suisse. And he was really emphasizing that something that does matter is who is running this board in the coming months, because they're the people that are going to dictate in some way what information gets transferred to UBS, gets transferred to investigators, gets transferred and put out, generally speaking. And if there's going to be any clawback, if there's going to be any proof of mismanagement in the past, it's going to be down to getting all of that information
baseline. So we're looking to go lower. MACD still red. You know, you can. It's really is. You've got to wait for that move, because we could see a push up, like I say, to this back to this resistance and zone here. Look, which is a move of about 4 pips or so. And then we could look for a downside of about the same 3 to 4 pips. So I'm just looking to do a 5 pip. Might even get out sooner. Might do 3 or 4 entries on this. I'm only using a 0.80 cents. 80 cents a pip. Here's the pip value. Margin is $150 odd, so you could probably trade this with $1,000 account, but you can go lower. That's, I mean, it's a fairly high-ish lot size for what you can start trading this with. You know, I'm kind of using a $10,000 account at the moment. I've got 3 or 4 accounts, but I'm on a $10,000 account, so you kind of scale it up and down depending on the size of your account. I don't really do Lambos. I'd rather do multiple positions and manage the trades that way, rather than like one big massive trade that can scare you when you see it going into drawdown. So on IC markets, if you go down to the smallest lot size you can trade, then you're looking at 10 cents a pip and a margin of $20. So basically, almost with $100 you could start trading US 500 if you're fairly accurate, at least to practice. I'd always say you are better practicing with a small live account than you are with a demo account. Nothing beats that kind of, you know, psychological effect of trading with real money. And that's a good thing about this. You can start with $100 and go for it on the smallest lot size just to get practicing. Like I say, that's 0.1. I'm up to 0.8, and I don't go any higher no matter what size of account.
Exacerbated by quantitative tightening and the end of an era that we've seen for more than a decade. How those risks play out, those repercussions will be felt for years, he says.
All right, interesting stuff, Shanali. Thanks so much for joining us. Oliver Crook, as well as get back to our panel, Aaron Brown of PIMCO and Stuart Kaiser of Citi. Aaron, you know, the risk after the SVB, sparked crisis is that the baby gets thrown out with the bathwater, and JP Morgan is the biggest baby there is in that sense. Are you buying these big banks?
Yeah, so these big banks, the GSIB banks, or the globally systematic important banks, are still trading at a pretty steep discount to the pre-SVB levels. I actually think that their businesses are solid. If anything, they're going to be gainers from deposit outflows from the small banks.
So we're all set up, ready to rock.
And that they'll be able to really capitalize this and
about
turn
6-7 minutes to
a
go.
Period of strength for them. So I actually think that just given that many of these big banks, with the exception probably of JP Morgan, are trading below book value, so pretty steep discounts, I think that they're pretty attractive here, and I think they're going to be beneficiaries, in the weeks and months and really over the next year.
Stu, what do you think? Big banks a buy? I mean, you really did see a bifurcation. This separated out those with fortress balance sheets and those who do not have that.
I would say from my perspective, we're still pretty cautious on the space. I mean, at the most simplistic level, we'll look at the chart of regional banks, and that chart does not, show much confidence on the part of institutional investors to engage in the space. We've been kind of waiting for private capital to come in and purchase some U.S. regional bank assets without those banks having been sort of taken over by the FDIC. We haven't seen that step sort of checked off either. So for us, still cautious on the space. I don't disagree with Aaron. I think over the medium term, you could probably make a really strong case for that. But from our perspective, from a tactical perspective, I just don't think the risk reward is particularly good at this point. So we're sort of staying a little bit arm's length until we get some more information.
All right, Stuart Kaiser at Citi, Aaron Brown at PIMCO. Really appreciate your input and your insight today. Coming up.
The pace of progress gets faster and faster. That's why we don't just invest in the companies that are changing the world today, but are also shaping the future. The Scottish Mortgage Investment Trust. Invest in progress.
So we zoom in, see what's happening. You see we're just retesting the baseline. So usually if we're below the baseline, obviously we're looking to take sells. If it's above, we're looking to take buys. It's simple. And we're below our trend line. Now the trend line will redraw as and when another pattern is picked up by the system. So that's really good as well. We might get one come across here for a trend line break to the downside. We might get one above for a trend line break to the upside. We will keep watching. At the moment RSI is hitting 31. Continuation level is 25, and then an oversold level is about 14-15. That's what I usually like to see. Say slow at the moment, as you'd expect. 5 minutes to go. On the 1 minute, pretty much the same. It's sat on this. So you'd look at the 5 minute and go, okay, look, why isn't this dropping down? What is keeping it from dropping down here? Then you just go to the 1 minute and you can see, look, we're sat on this nice neutral support. Above it, we're bearish. Below it, sorry, bullish. Below it, we're bearish. And it's tried to break. Look, false break came. It's trying again. If it breaks this, look, then we're going down.
That have found its common center.
So I use this as a, this kind of candle finishes at 40 seconds as an indicator of where we might be going. So we could get a manipulation, a buy, and then a drop again. And what you got to do is, if you go the wrong way, don't be scared. Don't just end the trade straight away, because 9 times out of 10, price will whipsaw both ways and come back to where you were. Just don't go loading loads of Lambos and stupid lot sizes, because that's where you will get blown out. Nice break lot, as you can see.
Time now for our morning calls. First up, Piper Sandler upgrading
what we got on the calls? There we go.
Overweight. The analyst highlighting a number of longer-term growth opportunities. Morgan Stanley upgrading Norfolk Southern to an equal weight, expecting shares to rebound after underperforming this year. And finally, North Coast Research downgrading Boeing to a sell.
To a sell.
Unfavorable headline momentum for the plane maker. Coming up, JP Morgan's Mira Pandit joins us for the opening bell.
2 minutes 40 seconds to go. Countdown. Let's look at the 1 minute. So again, rejects, pulls back. Now it's resistance. It was support. You see now it's changed. It's now resistance. This is how good it is. Switches over straight away. Are we heading down? Well, the news is positive. Remember, everyone's saying yeah, everything's positive. It's all good. Look at headlines on TradingView. Wall Street set for higher open gains. Everyone's thinking, hey, it's a buy. Yeah, it might well be. Is it going to be initially? Is it going to be a liquidity grab? As always, we see this every single day. Don't be fooled, you know. Attention turns to jobs. So everything, there might not be a major move because everyone's waiting for this jobs report in half an hour. But we should be enough to grab some green out of this. We've got 1 minute 30 seconds. Good luck, everybody.
Did art conservation help you
We're loaded in
to be a better investor? And should a lot of good investors who learn how to be an art conservator as well, or not?
I think
you can see this. Look at it messing around, whipsawing now in the 1 minute. That's where it gets scary. That's why you wait for the move, push back. Look.
And also, I think
1 minute to go.
One of the things is to do conservation, you have to really do a lot of work, pre-work, before you actually do a treatment. And so
I can see a push up, drop down, then it goes up again. Hits that higher high, drops back down again. Nice head and shoulders, nice double top. But let's see. Never anticipate. That's I've done it many times. I'm sure loads of people have, where you think, yeah, it's definitely going to go down, or it's definitely going to go up, and guess what? The market just wipes you out and goes the opposite way. You better have to catch some of the move than try and anticipate all of it. That's the sensible way to scalp. As long as you've got a good broker like INFORMATIONal Markets that executes trades pretty quickly, pretty well, both entries and exits. That's probably the key to this success. Right, 20 seconds, 15 seconds. We're ranging on this resistance, look, as you can see on here. There we go. Right, good luck everyone. Let's see what we'll get. Check the 1 minute rejection. Let's watch this play. And the Bloomberg is a few seconds behind us there, so we're in and we're out. Yay, that was it. So we caught, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades there, and we managed to get another $40–50. Just going to paste that as our initial nice sell. You can see there, looks nice push down. I've got out just as it hit that minor support. We might be going lower. I'm just going to wait again. So having a quick look at the 1 minute. Pushing down, going against the news, you see. Everyone's looking to buy. A lot of people have been caught out. There's your 1 minute drop. Look at that, pushing down, look beautiful.
Walmart is one of them, planning to lay off more than 2,000 workers.
It's going to break this zone. RSI is clicking at 25.26.
Well, Matt, you know, the drumbeat of this story continues to go on because just yesterday we heard about the story about McDonald's where their corporate workers are home yesterday through Wednesday as they learn about job cuts.
Let's just wait and see if the next move.
From Walmart, as you were talking about, it's in their e-commerce warehouses, specifically in Texas, Pennsylvania, Florida, and New Jersey. About 2,000 workers are affected.
Going to push down.
And they're actually adding in other warehouses, so it's not clear what the net effect is. And thus far, they have avoided what's happened with Amazon. 9,000 workers.
Yeah, you got in there. I got another 1, 2, 3, 4. I got another little cheeky $10–12 there. So like I say, if we can make $100 in the open, happy with that.
Since they talked about belt tightening last year. Now, as for the
Posting that again, beautiful, nice drop on that candle. Look, all you got to do is wait for that move. Just don't anticipate how many people would have taken buys. Drop to the 1 minute. Look at that. Look at the 1 minute. You can see that beautiful drop. Nice and easy to follow. Now we'll probably see if we hit a support level. We'll wait for pull up. RSI hit that 25. That's why I got in. That's my continuation level. So far we've taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trades, all winners, all green.
Abigail, did McDonald's really tell its executives, stay home for a few days? We're going to email you whether or not you're fired.
Yeah, it's really pretty amazing. The email went out last week, apparently, to workers. They have more than 150,000 corporate employees.
Nice candle, look at that, beautiful.
That's down from about 200.
Now we're going to hit some support here. Look, let's just see if it bounces on the 1 minute.
But what makes it so unusual is that, yes, these corporate workers were told to work from home Monday through Wednesday, and that
is it going to push back down again? Probably is. Let's see.
But sort of a harsh way to perhaps make these layoffs. Although, if you recall,
then we're going to wait for the news.
They made some layoffs by email, so maybe this is the new way of doing it. Even though the bedside manner not great.
Yeah, unbelievably cold. Reminds me of the rumor that Phil Collins divorced his wife via fax. That is, however, unconfirmed, I should point out. We're also watching Tesla. Shares rebounding after deliveries in China jumped by 19% this month. The figures
let's watch that sitting on that. We've got 45 seconds left on this candle. So next one's going to be crucial if it's going to sit above or below that line.
So Ed, what do we know about the ups and downs of Tesla? How much inventory?
Again, we're 23 on the RSI, so we've still got plenty of movement.
Yeah, so take a look at the stock.
22.
1.4% and rebounded from Monday's session. Monday's session, the biggest drop since Jan 30 on the quarterly delivery figures.
Just waiting to see if we can get in another trade.
What we're talking about in China's case is
14 seconds left on this candle.
Deliveries that go to dealerships and delivery centers, not directly to the consumer. Significant growth in the quarter, up about 19% month on month, 35% year on year. But again, this is wholesale data from the China.
It's found a nice level of support there. Look, a nice blue zone. It's disappeared. We're going down lower.
To those dealerships and delivery centers and not directly to the consumer. I'd also point out, we don't show it on this board, but BYD, the domestic.
Let's see what we can bag on this if it's going to push down.
206,000 EVs to dealers and wholesalers.
So look on the 1 minute. 1 minute we had a rejection. Retest. Back to the 5.
Still a critically important market. When we get the
just waiting to see if it breaks below this, and we're going down lower. If not, we'll take a sell at the baseline when it retests it. If this all happens before the news, obviously. But let's see. See how our blue zone came in there, it's holding. If that stays, and we know we've got a decent area of support. If it disappears, and obviously we haven't.
Which is below the 50% annual average growth rate that Tesla's targeting.
I think it's an excellent example of what's going on in the industry, Ed. And you work closely with two of our smartest Motown reporters, David Welch and Keith Naughton. They have a great story about the fact that
everyone fighting the market. Look.
As consumers were flush with cash and wanting to buy new products, now they have a ton of inventory, but prices have risen so high that nobody can afford any of these cars.
Exactly.
RSI kicking up, nice out the zone.
So the data's a real mixed bag, right? You can
see it moving around, look at that, beautiful. So look at the 1 minute and see. Nice push up. If it hits this neutral resistance, we could be looking at sales again on here. Look.
In the first 3 months of this year, but what's to come? You look at the sort of average sticker price of a vehicle in this country at about $50,000 US. The average lease payment being so much higher than it was pre-pandemic.
Nice rejection off of the zone, you can see.
Now we see sales continue to drop off.
All price action trading this.
Narrative and the impact on the consumer. Again, a mixed bag of data set. We did see vehicles when the chip supply was tight sitting on the forecourts for about 20 days. That's now up to 34 days. In other words, cars are sitting there longer.
Just watching the 1 minute, see if it's going to get to that neutral resistance.
On the consumer through it.
All right, Ed, thanks very much.
Come
Ed
on, push
Ludlow
up.
reporting to us live out of San Francisco on Tesla and really the expanding auto industry, which he covers for Bloomberg Tech. Now, a great Paris on Wall Street sounds the alarm for what's ahead. Morgan Stanley's Mike Wilson still looking for a bottom to this equity market. Chris Harvey of Wells Fargo.
Go back to the 5 and a rejection.
Take a listen.
We're in a slowing economy. We're staring into a recession.
I would wait.
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 Going to bail you out. The economy is not going to bail you out. And if you can't make numbers, it's going to be a very, very difficult period. And it's going to be a very difficult year because typically we see serial correlations.
We've got the JOLTS jobs news coming, so while we're watching, see if we get another trade away on this.
This is when we start to see things really change.
JOLTS on here. This is going to be the big one.
Last year's big bull, Marko Kolanovic, is sounding continually bearish in 2023.
Got 20 minutes, and that will be the end of our trading day. 3 news events all backed up nicely together.
Kind of building up to levels we haven't seen in quite a while. Is it a contrarian indicator?
Look, the markets have been remarkably resilient year to date, probably more so than most would have expected.
Cool, got a nice kick down again.
This is the ultimate pacifier to market volatility, and we saw that policy response during the course of some of the banking stress that
just
helped
took
prop up markets.
4 sells on that. We get 10, 20, 30, 40. 40. Another $40 there. Nice and simple.
What I would also point to is when we look at history.
Actually, sorry, $50.
So we tend to see markets bottom before the unemployment rate spikes, before the worst of the recession. Take 2009 as an example.
Again, look at that beautiful rejection. You see, that's what I'd like to see.
Started to emerge from recession in the summer, and we still saw the unemployment rate climb to about 10% by October. So none of these things necessarily happen in concert over time. So one of the reasons that we're a little bit more sanguine about where we go from here in terms of markets,
that's a nice rejection down.
See a new low is that dynamic precisely. Could we go a little bit lower than we are today? Probably, but I don't think we necessarily need to plumb brand new lows versus the fall.
Morgan Stanley's Mike Wilson argues that tech's recent
20 seconds left of this candle. We're 20 on the RSI.
amount of client questions on whether tech is a defensive sector. Our work suggests
Let's try and get another $20. And we have, yes. There we go. As it hits that, see, hit that blue level. That's where I got out. That's why I got out. So I don't hold. Hit that level. And yeah, so we're $122.45 for the session. I'm just going to post those results there.
Asset management's take, how are investors voting with their feet right now, and does that continue?
You certainly see an interest in tech because tech was very defensive during the last recession.
$122.45 in 10 minutes of trading. There you go. Now I could do more. I'm still watching. I'm not done, but I'm just saying that would do most people for 10 minutes of scalping, following the rules, the system here. Look, and just waiting. You see, I just had to wait. I just get it pushing down now. Yeah, I could have got more. It doesn't matter. It's all about seeing that green, not being greedy, not overstaying your welcome, knowing there's a big news event coming soon. Now we're waiting for a reversal. So what I'm doing now is actually looking to see, we've got a support zone on the 1 minute. Always try and trade with the trend, but I'm always looking for the reversal. And on our indicator, on our Mohawk Forex system, we've actually got a reversal, potential reversal indicator here, which you can put on the chart.
If we look during 2021, the concentration was still there, but the profitability was also there in more of an equal measure. So I do think that
reversal.
As an investor,
reversal. Love these. Potential reversal.
Being more balanced in this environment.
Again, don't take them as gold, but if you match it with whatever system you're using, they're pretty powerful. So I'm waiting for another one of these to drop on the 1 minute.
You're probably not. If you own US equities, you have some
we're now oversold. Look, we're 14 on the RSI. We're getting towards that demand zone. So this is where people are looking to buy to discount price. We've got a nice zone, nice support. This is now what we're looking for. Looking to come back up now. People are saying the target is 4192. So way up. So this is all nice grab. Look at that, beautiful. It's like rejected off that. It's perfect.
Banks, 3-4 weeks.
Now what's the news saying now? Look,
Silicon Valley Bank.
Set for higher. Oh yes, it is indeed. Yes, it's gone higher, as you can see. Love the manipulation. That's why you don't just trade listening to news channels, or you know, you've got to take your own opinion on it and just. There's a rejection. Look at that. There it is. 1 minute. Look at that. Beautiful.
The profitability, the health of different balance sheets. We
RSI
sure
17.
we are gearing towards the highest levels of quality here. There are plenty of opportunities in the market when we look at valuations and
RSI 16. Just want to see it hit that over.
So we do want to be a little bit mindful of scooping up some of the opportunities just because valuations
Sold
are
zone
low. We wanna
again.
make sure if we look at the broader picture and really analyze the fundamentals of different stocks or bonds, that the quality is there.
When we look at, we know that a lot of deposits flowed out of regional banks and into higher yielding, relatively high yielding money market funds. We know when I look at the ETF flows on the Bloomberg terminal, I can see that the flows went out of equities and into ultra short treasury ETFs. Now the problem with that, Mira, is that they're ultra short, right? The problem with money market funds is that those rates can fall. What do you think about
RSI 15. Let's just jump to the 1 minute, know what's going on. We kind of broke our zone up. We've got a heavy support zone, so we're probably looking to move down to here. So there's still potential to move down. Look, before we see a reversal, there's no reversal indicator. You can set an alert for these as well. Look at that drop. Perfect. Everyone's going on about it's opening higher. Now you can see now it's caught up. Look, now I'll just post that into the group.
1 year later. So we want to think about reinvestment risk. We also want to think about opportunity cost, where valuations are really low in other parts of the market. And we would expect that yields are going to continue to come down across the curve over the course of the year, particularly as inflation dissipates very gradually, as we see a slowdown in growth. That's going to bring those intermediate yields down, which means that bonds offer a lot of protection potentially in portfolios.
Look at that, beautiful. Here is the zone. Oh, right. On that minor resistance. Let's have a look. This is where we want to be looking for some buys.
Coming up, former President Donald Trump is awaiting his arraignment.
The circus is in town.
Let's have a look. Let's wait and see if we're going to get anything on this. It'd be nice to get another $20 or so, would be good.
The pace of progress gets faster and faster. That's why we don't just invest in the companies that are changing the world today, but are also shaping the future. The Scottish Mortgage Investment Trust.
RSI 12, look at that, beautiful.
In progress.
Just want to get in and out if we are going to take a buy on this. Obviously, we're going against the trend. I was looking for a quick pullback, nail some pips. And we've done it. Brilliant. Right, I got that candle there. What did I get? What did I get? Yay. Right, we got another. Oh, we got about another $50, $60. So we're $172.04 on that. Beautiful. That's how good that demand zone. As soon as I saw it lower on that demand zone, I was in. I was in. And we took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trades. One break even, the rest all green. I would have held longer if we haven't got the news coming up, but look at that. This is what I'm talking about. This is how good this system can be. Yeah, I could have got more, could have held, look, but you know, $172 in 15 minutes. Scalping, that'll do nicely.
Served a variety of presidents from the different parties, and the attitude in the United States is obviously to keep taxes low.
These supply demand zones work well.
And the word control is interesting, but that stops forward thinking in terms of planning, and therefore the short-termism around our fiscal policies has hurt us.
Look at that, beautiful.
In essence, infrastructure is a long-term return, and to get a long-term return,
10 minutes to the JOLTS news. See, on the bigger trend, we're still in a downtrend. You can see here that the MACD is telling me, be careful. Yes, we're coming out of an oversold zone, but we can stay in this. We know we can for hours on end. The MACD on the higher time frame still saying downtrend. So we just get the green, get your trades in on that, And now we've got a blue zone forming as a support. You see the other one disappeared because it didn't hold. This one's now holding with this demand zone. People are looking to buy, but the only thing that's getting in the way is this news. That's why you've just got to sit. If we didn't have the news, I'd probably be loading more buys in right now, but I've got good profit, don't want to ruin it. So look on the 1 minute, as you can see, if you switch to the 1 minute, it's telling you the same thing. We're probably going to range around a little bit now. We've got a heavy support here. We could push back up, get back to our baseline. We've got no reversal indication yet come on the chart, so look, it's still coming down. If you're going to buy, guess where you want to buy. If price hits the zone again, right at the bottom, don't buy top of the candle, buy at the low part, always. Again, doesn't mean you're guaranteed a winner, but you're more likely to than if you're buying at the top of a candle when you're just initially doing the first pullback. Because the next candle can just come straight back down again, then you get the push up to the direction. RSI 24, coming out the zone, it's nice, it's holding so far, 1 minute 25 left on this candle. Watching the 1 minute as well. Right, we're back in a sec. Just going to top up my coffee. 1 second.
Trump can stretch this out into the election campaign of 2024.
Former President Donald Trump preparing to surrender himself to authorities in New York City. This afternoon is arraignment scheduled for 2:15 p.m. Eastern in Lower Manhattan. Trump's lawyer saying he will plead not guilty, quote, very loudly and proudly. Bloomberg's Anne-Marie Hordern is at New York's Supreme Court. She joins us now. So AMH, what do we expect? I mean, will there be fingerprinting and mug shots? Is that really necessary? We all know what Donald Trump looks like.
Well, obviously, Matt, this takes on a different nature because this is a former president, the first former president to have such an ordeal, an indictment. Today he'll be booked and arraigned. He will be fingerprinted likely, but no mugshot. There was a request from news organizations to be able to get cameras in, to be able to get laptops in and mobile phones, but the judge is not allowing that. They are obviously taking this with a lot of precaution, and obviously the former president will have the protection of the Secret Service. What we can expect is that this will be a quite short ordeal. When he comes in, he'll be booked, he'll have his arraignment. And then, of course, we will be able to understand what the charges are against the former president. We know this stems from the hush money case given to Stormy Daniels, the alleged, ahead of the 2016 campaign election to seek her silence. But, Matt, this indictment is still under seal. So there's still a number of questions. What I can tell you on the ground here is just like outside Trump Tower yesterday, there is a ton of reporters, full court press, if you will, but there are also a number of supporters of the former president, as well as those that want to see him, frankly, behind bars. I even witnessed one altercation between these individuals, and it's very early in the morning, so things could get quite tense.
Okay, we're back. So, talking about Trump on the news. We're getting ready for the JOLTS. There's the countdown. 9 minutes, our final trade of the day. And yeah, like I said, a nice 2% on the account added nearly. That'll do nicely. Again, you just, at the moment, you just don't want to be greedy. It seems can go easily against you if you haven't got a system like this set up. Even if you have, it's difficult trading at the moment. So I like trading bang on these main news events. We seem to get a lot of movement. There was a reversal. You see, look, it held really well.
That's one of the main takeaways here. The answer seems to be no. This seems to be
now it's changed. The Wall Street opens mixed. Yes, ahead of Jobs News, which we knew.
In this instance, and
everyone's waiting for the JOLTS. And again, if you miss the initial move, don't panic. And again, don't get in late. Just wait for the reversal. There will be a reversal.
Response by the president. Janet Yellen had slightly more critical comments yesterday.
Let's look at what's happening on 1 minute. 1 minute.
But really, in terms of any
again, we're just hitting on this resistance.
Whether they're going to change their
stance. It's going to break here. That support level held up quite. It's a zone really there.
Does it affect their attempts to cap Russian oil prices? the answer
we've got a
seems
kind
to
of
be
a
no.
zone
There's no
from
particular
there.
attempt to push back on Saudi Arabia or change policies specifically.
So depending on the news, we could
based
drop
on
back
this
into it,
OPEC,
we take buys
decision.
again, or it falls through until we go down lower. You know, this is kind of your key zone
There's
here.
been no comment from the president or from the White House. Republicans seem to universally back him, whether they're running
Again, it's a
against
nice,
him or not. And
nice zone there that held up really well. Tested 1, 2, 3. There's a lower low, there's a higher low again.
Still is. What do we know about Ron DeSantis? Is there just too much of the spotlight now back on President Trump for DeSantis to mount any kind of real primary challenge?
I don't think it has a long-term effect on DeSantis.
6 minutes to go. Factory orders.
To run for president. Excuse me.
It's looking like a higher figure. Because it was minus 1.6 and it's minus 0.5, so still below where it should be, but they're saying factory orders month on month should be better, and the economic optimism should be better as well. So this just really, it's going to be this one that's going to send, send the markets moving. 10.4, and we're going to see a higher.
All right, Jack, get yourself a glass of water.
Then we've got some Fed speech, Fed Cook speaking, and then we've got the API, the oil, the usual one, to some people like to trade later on.
Stocks that are trading, and we go to Bloomberg's Abigail Doolittle. Abby?
Well, it's a bit of a sleepy day right now. We have the S&P 500 down ever so slightly on very below average volume, 30% below the average volume. Sleepy sector action too. Healthcare the best, up 0.4%. Materials the worst, down 0.9%. On the year though, Matt, it's super interesting. The big tech cap, the mega cap tech sectors, those are all up more than 10%. A couple of them
There's your open, that was your drop.
Banks, they still cannot get a break.
And the initial direction was bang on. All you need to do is find that area of support.
Did you know that 90% of people don't make money investing or trading in altcoins? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes, following you.
Friday, that's next in our trading
Right,
diary.
so we are live. 5 minutes to go. Top the coffee up. Last drink, last coffee of the day. And then we're going to get out of here and get a bit of sun, because it's actually sunny today. The weather's picked up for early April, which is nice. When it's like that, I don't want to be spending all day looking at charts. That's why I'm glad we've had a good little session. Now, if the RSI dips back in 25, I like to take another sell. If it stays in this zone here, I'll just wait for price action. If it crosses the average line here, as you see, that's where we look to take an aggressive buy. This is outside of trading the news.
You're so intimately linked to the future of the UK. What are you seeing when you go to branches and in the country?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of anxiety at the moment. I think the recovery from the pandemic has been and is continuing to be very strong. So I think we're seeing the economy recover. But with rising interest rates, with inflation, those are things that peoples and families and businesses haven't had to deal with for 10 years. So a lot of business owners today haven't had to operate in that environment. So it's causing quite a lot of anxiety, which means for us, because we're up and down the country in branches and offices, we can spend a lot of time talking to businesses and helping them plan and deal with it. But it is
pushing up now. Is it going to get a retest of this baseline?
For a long time.
You can measure how many pips, and we're talking only 4 pips, like you say. So a small move, but enough to earn money, enough to bag some profit. Lovely rejection out of the zone, you see. I love it when he gets that below 14 or 12 kind of level. Look, it's sunk there, it got down to 11, 12. That's a great time to enter a buy once you see price action.
In for Jonathan Farrow today. Let's get to the trading diary, what you need to be watching
there we go.
This week. JOLTS data and
JOLTS.
durable goods orders coming out at the top of the hour. We'll bring you those live as they break, of course. And then
Trump,
what everyone's watching.
Yes.
Former President Trump is appearing in Manhattan Criminal Court at 2:15 Eastern
Amazing.
for his arraignment. Plus, FedSpeak continues with more Cook, and then Collins and Mester all on deck. And tomorrow, UBS holding its annual shareholder meeting On Friday, we'll get the non-farm payrolls.
That's your news for this week. Got 3 minutes to go. Yeah, tomorrow's looking good. We've got factory orders for the DAX pre-market and the French as well. Production. We've got global PMIs for DAX again and for UK, and then we've got import export. The big one tomorrow is ADP and the PMI, non-manufacturing PMI, but the ADP will be the big kicker tomorrow. Again, jobs change, again data, inflation data related, so that's the one to look for tomorrow, an hour and 15 before the open. Right, back to today. Here we go then. So good luck everybody. We've got a minute to go. Let's wait for the move. Let's see if we can jump in. If you miss it, we miss it. We don't trade it. You know, otherwise we wait for the reversal. If it's worse than expected on the data front, this is going to go up.
Make it very
and vice versa.
To the shopper before they accept an order, what the order is going to look like, how much we're going to pay them, and how much like the consumer is paying them, and so they can decide.
So good luck everybody on JOLTS. Don't let this fool you into thinking, oh yeah, it's going to continue to buy. Might be, might not be. Pure manipulation. Remember, people are out there ready to grab your money. That's why I don't do pending orders. Same thing. Showing your hand, pending orders. If you've got a line set somewhere, there'll be 100,000 traders exactly the same, and that's where the money goes.
And that's because a lot of the job at Instacart is
40 seconds left.
And just being in a car with
Make sure I'm loaded up on my broker. Yep, all good.
Job of customer service, of really picking the right products for the
Like I say,
consumer.
it could go either
And
way.
we are seeing that being very appealing to
30
women.
seconds.
Enjoy the excitement of a night of music at Boston Symphony Hall with BSO Now. Watch brand new Boston
20
Symphony Orchestra
seconds.
performances, behind-the-scenes
Let's try and
storytelling,
bag some.
and memorable archival concerts, all from the comfort of home. Use our free 24-hour trial and see why the Boston Globe
And watch the
calls it
market
musically
move slightly
rewarding.
before
And
the news
Berkshire
comes out,
Hathaway says
always.
The orchestra has never played better. Visit bso.org/now, where the music plays on.
There we go.
BSO season sponsored by Bank of America.
Out comes the news. Got to push up.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. I had a buy, popped that down there, and it just spiked up, took out my take profit.
Well done.
Nice little lick on the funded account.
Yeah, I'm done. Yes! Woohoo! We got it. I managed to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 positions. $272, 2 cents, bro. That'll do for 30-minute scalping.
Wait till you see this one. This is on my funded account. They're getting pissed at me.
Are they?
Hold on. Wait till you see it. I'm putting it in the group.
Don't, you're scared.
They do not like me right now.
Man, amazing.
Yeah, $9,300.
Brilliant. They must be loving you. If they can, if they can follow.
The problem is they can't, because I've gotten good at anticipating news events, like you've taught us.
Yeah.
But I've gotten good at anticipating the news events. I can't trade a typical news event. I can't put in a trade 5 minutes either way before a news event. So I have to really tune it in and dial in, you know, my anticipation of what it's going to be. So I usually put in a trade 15 to 10 minutes before the news event, and then I just let it hit, take profit on spikes.
Beautiful. That's a good way to do it, because obviously they've got the rules, haven't they? You can't trade it 5 minutes either side.
They love all things America. But as long as I already have the trade initiated and the smacks take profit during the news event, they don't care.
Ah, I see. Excellent. Right.
So the good thing is, whenever you line up your fundamental supply and demand zones along with technical supply and demand zones, you pretty much can anticipate where it's going to go based on the predictions. And as long as it's not askew, heavy either way. I mean, NFP is definitely not something that I would do because it spikes way too violently either way.
It pushes
But
your trade
the
out of the way.
Yeah, the other ones that you can anticipate the fundamental supply and demand zones. Oh, it's easy.
Yeah, that was a good one on JOLTS. Very good. Yeah, I like how you're doing it. It's good. It just shows you can do it. It just shows you can trade the fundamentals even with a funded account.
Yeah. Well, and you know that I've been utilizing a different piece of software for my trade executions. I've got it set up on MT4, and then I've copied the trades because I can only use MT5 with my funded account. So I've copied the trades through Social Trader Tools, where it goes from my software on the MT4 and it copies it directly over to MT5.
$1 million was wealth.
That's perfect.
Anyone's wildest imaginations.
See how it's rejecting. Look at that. So you've got the sales in. There you go. Look at that. Look at the reversal. The reversal indicator spot on. Man, I missed it. We were talking. Could have got in on that. Look at that. JOLTS and then.
Could have grabbed that right at the spike.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that reversal indicator.
Half the population of the Philippines was playing it. Number fever boosted Pepsi's sales.
But no FOMO. Like I say. Win's a win in a difficult market. That's a great. I just like the accuracy of that. As soon as I saw that spike down, bam, we could have loaded up 9 or 10 trades on that. Look at that rejection. Perfect. Always the way. You know, most people steer away from new spikes. We love it.
There were signs that there were going to be problems.
And back to where it was before the news, you know. We see this happen so many times.
In Chile, and a garbled fax had caused
right, well that will do because we've got. Didn't print that news for some reason. It hasn't been announced yet, is it? The optimism. We've got the Fed speaking coming up later on. So yeah, thanks for popping in and joining me, bro. Anyway.
Absolutely. I'm sorry I was late. I had a conference call I had to take care of.
That's all right. We'll do more. Now I'm back, and now we've got the new setup. Now we've got the new setup on here. You know, these supply and demand zones. The supply and demand zones are bang on. They're really good. Backed up with the support and resistance. The RSI's there, and they've got the bigger. You know, we're still in a downtrend on the bigger time frame. Everything's right, just perfect now on here. It's just a case of waiting and like you said, using it to anticipate the news events. You know, if you can't trade bang on the news events because of your restrictions, you know.
Yeah. But I've definitely been doing a lot more supply and demand trading lately. That's built into the software that I use, and it's built into our package now, so they're bang on. They line up.
Yeah, well, look how accurate this was. You know, you got a rejection off that zone, take your profit there, waited for it to break the trend line and the zone, and there was your sell. And then here's your buy. I said about an hour ago, everyone is waiting to come back to this price for it to be a buy. And there you go. Regardless of the news.
Hi, Roy. That indicator, the reversal indicator, is a good idea on the news events on the 1 minute.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's perfect. Look.
Within a year, violent
it works really well. Like I say, if you missed that initial move because it was too fast, or you thought I've missed it, then you just wait for the reversal.
I got a couple of trades. I got €30 out of it, so that wasn't bad. I'm pleased. Out of the buy.
Yeah, perfect. That's it, because you know it's not going to last forever. And you know it moved fairly quickly, but there was enough of a move, enough of a gap for it to come up. I mean, price now might slowly rise back up and fill that wick, or come all the way back down. We don't know. But like you say, having that reversal indicator just gives you the confidence with the blue zone that bang, okay, I missed the buy, I'll take the sell.
Yeah. Or even if you don't miss the buy.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, if you get both, that would have been a nice 5 pips either way. Stick 3 or 4 trades in, and there you go. It's done. That's what I did. I put, like I say, 9 trades in. I clicked 10. I only got 9 away. One didn't execute, but that's fine. That's a good half an hour's scalping, you know. So this will be 100% the settings I'm sticking with, you know, because it's all geared around price action, so it's perfect for how we want to trade, you know.
You know, this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for number fever.
Good stuff.
Brilliant. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. That was a good quick hour stream. There'll be more coming, and we'll do some more end of US session ones as well. Might squeeze one in later this week, and then we'll try and do another live on Friday for the NFP. Yeah, thank you for joining, and until the next live stream, trade safe. And like I say, if you want to learn how to do all this, go to the website www.mohawkforex.com. And thank you, Marina and Justin, for joining, and I'll see you all on the next one.
Bye, Justin.
Everybody trade safe.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
see you. Take care.
That were fighting.